Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on the SEBI's enhanced focus on compliances for listed entities, market rumor, insider trading, use of technology, and more. Thanks for joining the session. I'm Indranil Choudhury, a lawyer and the CEO of Lexplosion Solutions. I, along with my colleagues Sourav Choudhury, who is a chartered accountant and a company secretary and leads strategy for Lexplosion, and Kumar Bambam, who is a company secretary and our subject matter expert on corporate laws, will be taking you through some of the key highlights of SEBI's focus on greater transparency and reporting requirements for listed entities. Later in the session, we'll be joined by our expert panelists, Mr. Gaurang Shah, Vice President Legal, Corporate Affairs and Company Secretary at Ajanta Pharma Limited, and Mr. Anup Kumar Samal, who's the Company Secretary and Compliance Officer at WABAG Limited. Mr. Shah and Mr. Samal will share practical insights on the new compliance requirements, their benefits, the key challenges, and suggestions to tide over those. This session will broadly cover four aspects: SEBI's new framework for addressing market rumors that could lead to material price movements, recent amendments to SEBI's insider trading regulations, the amendments to market capitalization criteria and how they align listing obligations with a company's current market standing, along with some steps taken or proposed by SEBI to streamline compliances. Before we move ahead, we would like to inform all of you that this session has been recorded slightly ahead of its actual time to avoid any last-minute technical glitches. However, time permitting, we will take some of the questions from the audience at the end of the session, so please keep typing in your questions in the chat window. Let's get started with the recent changes to the market rumor requirements. Saurav, I wanted to come to you first. Rumors have always coexisted with financial markets, and Regulation 3011 of the SEBI LODR regulations always provided for the companies to confirm or deny any reported event or information to stock exchanges. What really has changed now, and what was the need for this change?
Thanks, Indranil. So, with the increased access to information through the ever-increasing sources of information and the increased participation of retail investors in the market over the years, the risk of unwarranted price fluctuation is inevitable. Regularly, there are instances where regulators encounter various unethical practices like, say, front running or pump and dump schemes, to name a few, where the investors are enticed into fed stories to entice them into investing or to selling a particular script, and the perpetrators of such unethical practices benefit from that. The real challenge in this information rich world is to avoid false information. And as you rightly pointed out, Regulation 30 subclause 11 always provided for companies to confirm or deny any reported event. However, companies had some discretion whether or not to respond to market rumors, which led to inconsistent practices. In June 2023, the regulation was amended to provide that this will be applicable to the top 100 listed companies and then to top 250 listed companies from dates to be notified. However, there were some portions which lacked clarity still. With the May 2024 notification, SEBI made it mandatory for these set of companies to confirm, deny, or clarify any rumor of an impending specific event or information reported in the mainstream media within 24 hours of the trigger of material price movement. After a couple of extensions, the regulation is finally applicable to top 100 listed companies from June 1st and will be shortly applicable to top 250 companies from December 1st.
So thanks, Saurav. What you're saying is that in less than 3 months, the top 250 listed entities in India will need to have a much closer monitoring mechanism of not just their stock prices, which they probably already do, but also on market rumors. What will perhaps help at this stage is to understand what constitutes material price movement and what will be included in the mainstream media. Sort of, are social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram covered as well?
Sure. So to provide guidance on what a material price movement is and when a price movement can be considered material, the stock exchanges have come out with a framework with respect to price rumor verification. The materiality of a price movement is determined by how much the share price changes as compared to the last trading session's price, along with the adjustment for market dynamics. Having said that, material price movement is determined by different percentage variation depending upon the price range of the equity share to make it practical. Like So for companies with share prices in the price range of 0 to 99.99, a movement of 5% or more shall be considered as material. Similarly, for companies with shares in the price range of 100 to 199.99, a movement of 4% or more shall be considered as material price movement. And for uh, companies with share price exceeding 200 rupees, a movement of more than 3% or more will be considered as material price movement. However, a point to be noted here is there is a two-way approach, which is one is the share price, another is the broader market. So in case the benchmark indices, that is Nifty 50 or Sensex, have moved by more than 1% as at 9:30 a.m., the percentage variation for the material price movement is to be adjusted accordingly. Let's understand this with the help of an example. As you can see, in the case of ABC Limited, this is a company listed on NSE and having share price of rupees 85 per share as on the close of September 4th. Say at 9:30 a.m. on September 5th, Nifty was up by only 0.5%. So in this case, any movement of 5% or more in the share prices of ABC Limited on either side, whether up or down, shall be considered as a material price movement. However, in the same example, had the increase in Nifty not been 0.5% and instead been 2.5%, since there is a more than 1% movement, a movement to be considered material in the share prices of ABC Limited will have to be 7.5% or more. Bambam can now help us understand what would fall within the ambit of mainstream media.
Yes, thanks, Sourav. So, in order to understand what mainstream media covers, so we have to check with the guidelines which has been prescribed by Industry Standard Forum, which comprises of three bodies, that is ASSOCHAM, FICCI, and CAI. So, this is having a backing of Securities and Exchange Board of India. So, let's check what are these news mainstream media covers. So, these are basically news resources from different background, let's say electronic media, print media. So coming to, and it also covers the international and of course the national languages as well. So coming to the Indian newspapers, it covers the top 20 English daily newspapers, which covers the general news as well as the current affairs, including the financials and business news as well. Apart from these, there are some business and financial newspapers which are circulating in our Indian market, English newspaper, of course. So those are also covered within the ambit of Indian newspapers. There are top two languages, top two most circulating regional languages newspapers, and there are around 22 official languages which have been prescribed. So all those regional languages newspaper are also covered. For examples, like for Hindi, we have Dainik Jagran and Dainik Bhaskar, and similar languages are there in top 22 official languages which has been prescribed. Apart from these, there are news channels which are like CNN, TV18, there are NDTV Profit 80 times now, and again the digital online news channels like Money Control, Bloomberg, Live Me. So these are the digital channels which are also to be taken as a consideration for covering the mainstream media. One relaxation, what we can say, is being provided that social media profiles, social media heads are excluded from the mainstream media. Since social media's profiles are easily accessible and can provide any ungeneral, means not with any information which is general in nature. So these have been excluded, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and other social media handles. However, we need to take it as a note that the social media handles of the news medias as provided earlier, so those are also be covered in the mainstream media.
Thanks, Bambam. Some interesting highlights of what you just said. One is it's not just the newspapers which are in English. It's also 22 official language newspapers, two each. It also includes foreign media, so Wall Street Journal, Financial Times for the USA, Business Times and Financial Times for Singapore, as well as Financial Times for United Kingdom. All of these will have to be monitored. In addition, if I'm not mistaken, the board of a listed company will also have to identify all the other foreign jurisdictions where the company has material business operations, along with a list of English business and financial news sources from such jurisdiction to be tracked. So clearly, the listed entities seem to have their task very well cut out. What all kinds of market rumors will require to be verified in all of this?
So, no, Indranil. Onto this, only reported event or information which are in the mainstream media and which is not general in nature and which has in circulation among the investing public shall be considered as market rumor. To be more specific on this, what a market rumor or when it is requiring a confirmation or denial or clarification, it must be providing some specifically identifiable details of the matter or the event which is being in circulation. So further, there is another point that it must provide codes or attributed to sources, the news sources or the mainstream media sources who are reasonably expected to be knowledgeable about the subject matter. It's not like everyone is coming and saying some rumor, so we that is to be taken into consideration. It's not like that. So again, let's continue with our previous example wherein we had said that ABC Limited, a company listed on NSE, said there is an information circulating in the mainstream media that about ABC Limited proposing to demerge its consumer healthcare business activity. Means one of its units they want are supposed to get demerged. So there is a rumor circulating in this. So this rumor requires a verification onto this part. So, however, let's say the information was that ki ABC Limited is proposing to demerge one of its business. So, with this line, when we are saying that one of its is business, so there is no specific event which can be identified that what kind of business they are going to demerge, as it lacks the test of providing specifically identifiable details on the matters or the event, as I said. So there are some other similar situation in the listed entities in the industry standard that provide guidance on how the rumors requiring verification.
Thanks, Bambam. That was very insightful. At this stage, I would like to urge the entire audience to review the industry standards that have been laid down by the Industry Standards Forum, that is CII, FICCI, and ASSOCHAM, as Bambam has previously mentioned. I thought it lays what constitutes market rumors with a series of excellent examples. Having given us such a detailed perspective of what is market rumor, Bambam, what will probably help is if you can explain how often companies are required to verify market rumor. After all, in some cases, rumors are frequent, and reporting each such rumor can be practically very daunting.
So yeah, I agree to that. Indranil means let's say ki all sorts of rumors to be verified is not like that. A rumor is to be verified only when if such rumor is in the mainstream media and that leads to material price movement of the securities of the company. So again, let's go back to our previous example of ABC Limited. So let's say there is an information circulating in the mainstream media that let's say take a date of 5th September that company again proposing to demerge its consumer healthcare activity. So there is a market rumor that company is going to demerge its healthcare business activity. So this information is quite specifically identifiable. However, in this case, the price movement of the security on the 5th of September is lesser than 5% of the shares of the ABC Limited. So assuming that there is no adjustment needed for a broader index movement, there is no requirement to confirm, deny the rumor in that case. So we need to just take a point or note onto this that every rumor is not to be verified. Only rumors are to be verified when there is an mainstream media, it is publishing in the mainstream media and there is a price fluctuation or material price movement in the securities of the company.
Thanks, Bambam. I hope this discussion will provide the audience with a much clearer understanding of SEBI's directive on market rumor and material price movement. To assist them further, Lexplosion is building a solution called Control, which will make complying with SEBI's directive extremely easy. Here is a quick sneak peek into Control.
Are you overwhelmed by the challenge of tracking real-time stock price movements, market indices, and identifying market rumors from multiple sources? Introducing Control, your integrated tool for real-time monitoring of stock prices, broader market indices, and market rumors in compliance with SEBI's Regulation 30, Subclause 11 of the LODR regulations. On the Control dashboard, View real-time movements of your shares on NSE and BSE with a trend chart that highlights points of interest where stock prices breach set thresholds. The threshold marked in the graph, lower limit and higher limit, is derived depending upon your share price, the range mentioned in the framework, and adjusted for any movement in the broader indices as at 9:30 am, which is shown in the dashboard. As soon as the stock price breaches the limit on either side, the tool will trigger a notification email to all relevant teams, the communications monitoring teams, which is responsible for monitoring rumors, the business operations team, who are likely to be key stakeholders internally and have access to facts and information on the rumors, and the executive team, who are the key compliance team members and executive management who would be interested to know the actions taken on each such trigger. On clicking on each POI, you can go straight to the links of any rumor of an impending specific event or information reported in the mainstream media along with a brief summary. The monitoring team can do the first round of review and ignore a particular item or allocate each item to respective members of the operating team, who in turn can verify the rumor, discuss it internally, and take necessary action of either confirming or denying the rumor and upload a proof of compliance. Simplify your process of complying with SEBI's requirement on reporting market rumors with Comptrol. Please fill up the online form which will be shared on the chat window to express your interest.
We are hoping that Comptrol will help all of you monitor and report market rumors with ease. Moving on from market rumors, we wanted to spend a few minutes on the recent changes in insider trading regulations, wherein SEBI has reduced the cooling off period for insiders before executing trades under a trading plan from 6 months to 4 months, more specifically 120 days. Similarly, the minimum 12-month trading plan has been removed, and insiders now have the flexibility to specify upper and lower price limits within which their trades must occur. Bambam, what was the need for this change, and what impact is this likely to have on companies and insiders so far as compliance is concerned?
So, Indranil, on this point, these changes are making trading plans more adaptable and practical while placing greater responsibility on the companies, of course, to ensure that these plans are properly monitored. As we know that with greater flexibility, there comes the great responsibility onto this. So reduced cooling off period means companies must be more vigilant in ensuring that the insiders do not trade on the basis of public information during the shortened period. So again, the flexibility.
Non-public information.
Pardon?
I think you mean non-public information.
Yeah, it's non-public information, exactly.
Okay.
So, yeah, the flexibility in the duration of the trading plan and the introduction of the price limit, that is plus minus 20%, also requires companies to strengthen their compliance framework to monitor these variables effectively. So this also increases the importance for the need of the proof structural digital database to record the details of the person who are having access to the UPSI, that is unpublished price sensitive information. So again, a very big chunk for listed entities to manage this database, structural digital database, and to track those trades which are more flexible plans, ensuring that all the trades are made in accordance with the set parameters with the legal framework as prescribed.
Thanks, Bambam. So what you're suggesting is that while the change gives more flexibility to insiders, it requires closer monitoring by the listed entities themselves. What is likely to require more monitoring as well is the need for keeping a track of their ranking in the index. So, Sourav, can you please brief us about the latest amendments to the market capitalization criteria for determining the ranking of listed entities?
Sure, Indranil. So SEBI has now introduced a new methodology of average market capitalization for calculating the ranking of listed entities for the purpose of complying with regulations which are applicable to a set of companies on the basis of their market cap. Like we already discussed, the requirement to verify market rumors is presently on top 100 listed entities and shortly will apply to the next 150 entities. Similarly, the requirement for BRSR is applicable to top 1000 listed entities for now. So as of now, what happens is the ranking for these listed companies is finalized on the basis of their market capitalization as on a particular day, which is 31st of March. But this does not take into consideration the volatility in stock prices over a period. So now what SEBI has done is effective 31st December, every recognized stock exchange shall determine the ranking of listed entities basis their average market capitalization over a 6 months period, which is from 1st of July to 31st of December, and finalize the list. The entities which are newly being included in the list or which are re-entering the list after a break must establish systems and processes in order to comply with that within 3 months, since they need to comply with the requirements from April 1st. Bambam can now help us understand some other recent initiatives proposed by SEBI to ease compliances.
Thanks, Sourav. So, in a welcome initiative to ease compliances for the listed entities, SEBI has now standardized the notice period for all the events requiring board meeting intimation under Regulation 29 of SEBI LODR. So, previously, companies were supposed to have provide different notice periods ranging from 2 days to 11 days, depends upon the nature of the board meeting, like agenda, financials, results, and buyback and dividend, etc. So now companies can streamline their internal processes for board meeting notifications, as they no longer need to differentiate between the various notice periods or various types of decisions or reporting of the notice periods. So this could also lead to better operational efficiency and consistency in compliance practices. So there is a uniform 2 days notice period as prescribed by SEBI for all sorts of prior intimation under Regulation 29.
Thanks, Sourav and Bambam, for throwing light on some of these extremely crucial changes brought about by SEBI. Without further ado, let us introduce our two guests for today. Mr. Gaurang Shah, who's a Senior Vice President, Legal, Corporate Affairs and Company Secretary at Ajanta Pharma Limited, with more than 25 years experience in managing legal, secretarial and corporate affairs in various organizations from SR Bartley and Company, Reliance Industries and now Ajanta Pharma. And Mr. Anup Kumar Samal, who is a Company Secretary and Compliance Officer at VA Tech WABAG Limited. Mr. Samal is a law graduate with more than 25 years experience as the Company Secretary and Compliance Officer of various organizations. Before WABAG, he has worked with GMR Group, Tejas Network and Hindustan Aeronauticals Limited. Thank you both for sparing the time to join us for today's webinar. Mr. Shah, if I can start with you. Ajanta Pharma is among the top 250 companies. So the SEBI guidelines on market rumors will apply to you from the 1st of December this year. You must have already started preparing for complying with the requirement to verify and confirm, deny market rumors on material price movement. So my question to you will be, can you share your experience so far with the audience? What has been like? What are the key thoughts that are coming to your mind, key challenges that you can think of, and how you're planning to tide over those?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Choudhary, for the question. So basically, the challenge is on twofold. Firstly, gathering the information from the mainstream media, and thereafter checking whether there's any material price movement due to this rumor, and after satisfying the conditions, to give appropriate replies to the that is clarifications or refuttals to the rumor that are put forth in the mainstream media. So we have been tracking all the medias it's in the last about 1 year or so. But now they've elaborated the mainstream media. I mean, earlier it was not there, but now they've specified the mainstream media, and which covers so many national dailies and regional dailies and the news channels and all that. So tracking such a large media comprising of so many things may be a bit difficult, but we have already started discussion with our corporate communication team and our finance team to lay down the processes and mechanism with which we can, track the mainstream media and try and find out what are the rumors that are spread in the media, and so that appropriate actions can be taken timely, and we can give our submissions to the exchanges, so that there is no false market making in the company's script. So that process is on, and maybe in a couple of months' time, we'll be ready with that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's very helpful. Mr. Samal, while I know that WABAG is technically not in the top 250 yet, but it's only a matter of time. And I'm sure that as someone who's responsible for managing the overall corporate governance for the organization, you've already started thinking about this whole piece about market rumor. What is your thought process on this? How are you planning to prepare yourself? What is the news that you're getting from the corporate secretarial community in this country on how the rest of them are preparing themselves for this fairly interesting move by SEBI?
Yeah, good afternoon, and thanks for giving me an opportunity, and thanks to all. The question what you have asked, just I am answering. As you rightly said, it is not applicable to our company because our rank is coming 650 and all. So hence presently these provisions are not applicable to our organization, as we are not falling in the category of the top 250. However, we have an internal SOP or circular which we prepared as per the regulation 30 compliance. When the SEBI regulation, the notification came into force effective from 13 July 2023, and we have circulated to all the department and all, and we are monitoring and we are following. So that we do. As and when it is applicable to our organization, especially 3011, we will comply by taking into consideration a SEBI circular dated 21st May 2024 issued to listed company stock exchanges and industry associations like ASSOCHAM, FICCI, and Confederation of Indian Industry with respect to industry standards on verification of the market rumor. B, industry standard note published in the website of the industry association. C, circular issued by NSE Surveillance Department on 21st May 2024 regarding framework on material price movement in equity cash market with respect to rumor verification by the listed companies. And D, last point, any further clarification, SOP, amendment, notes and frameworks, FAQ issued by SEBI, stock exchanges and industry association, etc. in the future. So we may also seek the support, this point to be noted, we may also seek the support from the external service provider or consultant who are subject matter experts and may follow any tool developed by any external agencies or consultant like software for the PIT regulation.
That is very, very, very interesting.
So adding to what Mr. Samal said, taking help of some tool would be most beneficial for all the corporates, given the widespread of the mainstream media, which we have to track, as also the material price movement that we have to track. So that both are very complex and very difficult to, in the day-to-day management of the company, it's very difficult to track all these things. So tool would be beneficial to the corporates, and it may help complying with the requirements.
Right. And Mr. Shah and Mr. Samal, as you probably know, Lexplosion has already taken the first steps in building a solution called Comtrol. What we are planning to do is, first of all, identify the last price of the stock from the previous day, and then also check whether the index has moved by greater than 1%, and then through a single window provide you with an opportunity to keep track of and get a trigger whenever the price moves beyond the thresholds that have been prescribed by SEBI, and also simultaneously track all those different media channels and media sources that have been identified and give a list to you along with some materiality basis, the industry bodies guidelines, so that you can do that. If you have any thoughts, do you have any thoughts on what else would help make this an interesting tool for the community of company secretaries who are working with large organizations like yours? We'd be very happy to take your input. So Mr. Shah, if you have any, or Mr. Samal, would be very happy to take your input.
I think that is a good move, because as of now, what I see is no such tools are available in the market. and this being a new thing for the industry altogether, such kind of tool development and giving it for the corporates for the usage would be a welcome move, according to me, because the the kind of complexities it is having for taking the media and for working out the material price movement. It may be foolproof system to meet the requirements and compliance with the ensure compliance with the requirements timely. So that's a good move, and we have been having some tools like insider trading compliance tool and all that, but this kind of tool is not available in the market right now. So if Comrisk is coming out as a tool, it will greatly help the industry.
I will also tell you, sir, it is a welcome move. And I will just tell one point: survival of the fittest. The fittest will survive in the market. So once you come up to the market and all, then everybody will follow you also. So first and foremost, you should bring your software immediately.
Yeah.
We are planning to launch it in the month of September itself. And as a matter of fact, what we'll do in the next step is also integrate it with Comrisk. So for Comrisk users like your organizations, you will be able to get a unified view both of Comrisk and Comtrol through a single window. So that's the plan. Sourav, if you have any questions.
Yeah, so taking a cue from what Mr. Shah said, so you have already instructed your finance and the communications team to set up processes. So what are the key processes that you think might need a change to comply with these regulations? And how can one monitor mainstream media given the vast coverage? It includes newspapers, digital version, the paper version, newspapers across 22 different regional languages, the social media handles of all these newspapers. So what are the key processes that need change?
The key processes is one of the change that is going to be there is the change in the materiality policy of the company. So we are already seeking board approval for that to incorporate whatever changes are brought in with these amendments and to make it in alignment with that. So that is the first change that we are going to do. Second is sensitizing the promoters, directors, PMP and SMPs to be watchful and to be a little cautious while dealing with media and while making public statements, to ensure that there is no disclosed or even the glimpse of that is given in the disclosures which are being made to the media or to the investment agencies. So whenever they are interacting with them, they have to be aware of all these requirements and to ensure that no such news items are fed to the media, which can lead to some rumors and which in turn leads to some material price movement. So that is another thing that we are doing. We are going to be sensitizing the board and the management on this in the coming months. And thirdly, to either take on board some agency which tracks the media on all India basis, as also in the international media, what the SEBI has prescribed. And fourthly, to develop to source some tool which is going to help us for tracking the material price movement, as also whatever other compliances are to be done under the new regulations. So these are some steps that we are going to take for ensuring compliance.
Thank you. Mr. Samal, according to you, what are some of the processes that additionally might need change?
See, a detailed checklist or SOP with AI-driven technology may be required to be made with the help of an external service provider in order to comply with these regulations. More guidelines are required to be published on this by the Security Exchange Board of India, stock exchanges, and industry association, etc. in future. To my company, as regards to my company, I can tell you 21 SOP awareness session I have conducted in last year. So far as WABAG Code of Conduct for Prevention of Insider Trading is concerned, and SOP on SEBI notification dated 13 July is concerned, which that three criteria you all know: 2%, 2%, 5% threshold limit, and disclosure to the stock exchanges within 24 hours, 12 hours, and 30 minutes from the closure of the board meeting I have taken 21 sessions for my organizations. So we will learn a lot from Mr. Shah, because his company is, means a 250 company and all. My company is 50. So I will learn from him as well as Mr. Indranil Choudhary and you and all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So the entire
Bambam?
industry is at learning stage right now, Mr. Samal. So everybody will be learning from each other's experience and expertise. So,
Correct.
it's a welcome move for everyone.
Correct. As a matter of fact, I'm sure SEBI is also keeping will be monitoring how organizations are being able to react to it, and even they will learn and hopefully bring about more suggestions and guidelines, like Mr. Samal said. Bambam, do you have a question for?
Yes.
So basically, just to add to what he said, this is a new concept for everyone in the industry so far. So everybody is trying to gauge how the compliance is to be done, barring the top 100 companies who are already in the fold. Companies like us, everybody is just trying to understand the requirement and trying to implement the things and processes so that by 1st of December we are in sync with the regulations and we are ready to ensure compliance is in 100%.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, Bambam, you were saying something.
Yeah, so my question is to Mr. Shah is, since mainstream media also covers the news channel, so sir, how are you planning to cover these as a how track these news channels in order to track the rumors as well?
It's for me or for Mr.
So it
Samal?
is for you, sir, Mr. Shah.
For me. So as I mentioned earlier, also we are in discussion with our corporate communication team right now, and they are already tracking our news, whatever is reported all over India. Today also we have a system of tracking that, but maybe we'll have to more systematize that, and we'll have to make it more organized, so as to ensure that we have the news feed from the English dailies and the international media, as well as also the news channels. So, but one thing which I can mention is that it may not be practically possible for the companies to do it in-house, given the wide spread of the media which is covered in the mainstream media. So maybe we'll have to take help of some professional agency who are expertise, having the required expertise for tracking the news all over the country, as also the international media. So they're still in the discussion stage right now within the company, and we will do the needful in the next few months.
No, I
Okay,
think
thank you, sir.
I think even SEBI will give additional clarifications on the point, Bambam, because especially tracking so many different television news channels is going to be practically very difficult. I'm sure they will recognize that and probably, hopefully, clarify that only tracking the online versions of these news channels should be adequate, because once the share price has gone up, to go back and try to see which news channel came out with what might be extremely difficult, and I don't think that is optimum utilization of any organization's time. So we are hopeful that on this point, SEBI will provide further clarification to make it more efficient and relevant for the industry. So Sourav, any other questions that you have? Otherwise, we'll move to the next topic because we also have 3 other topics that we want to cover.
So just wanted some clarity from Mr. Shah and Mr. Samal on so this particular amendment that came out in May 24, it aims to remove the inconsistencies that were there so that everyone can follow the same word of the law in the same manner. But is market rumor still clear? And what not general in nature is? Are these things still clear, or they are still prone to interpretations by different companies differently?
Can I answer?
Yeah, please.
Sure, please.
See, even though stock exchanges and industry associations like FICCI, ASSOCHAM, and CII have published their clearly have published clearly the industry standards note, which are self-explanatory. Still, a lot of clarity is expected from the market regulator, stock exchanges, and these industry association and all. And I would like to draw your kind attention that SEBI also recently had placed the consultation paper with an objective to seek comments or views or suggestion from the public and other stakeholder on the recommendation of the expert committee with respect to facilitating ease of doing business under the SEBI LODR and SEBI ICDR, and harmonization of the provisions of the ICDR and LODR regulations. Pursuant to the budget announcement, an expert committee chaired by Sri S.K. Mohanty, ex-whole-time director SEBI, was set up to inter alia review the LODR regulation and ICDR regulation from the point of view of facilitating ease of doing business and to harmonize the provisions of ICDR and LODR regulations. We are hopeful such clarity will be definitely coming in future from the SEBI, stock exchanges and industry associations.
My
Yes.
view is that the law is just coming into place, and a lot of clarity is still required on various aspects. Of course, the industry standard note has been prescribed by SEBI along with the help of the institutions like FIXI and SOCHAM and all that. But see, one of the example I would like to cite is that it is mentioned in the regulations that only if the material price movement is in sync with the Sensex or the Nifty or in the same direction, then the clarification is required to be given. But whether the news is amounting to a positive news or a negative news, there's a clarity required to be given on that. I mean, if for one company it may be a positive news, but for the other company, I mean, for the other side it may be negative news. So the kind of impact it would have on the market, it's a perception which everybody is having. So we cannot say for 100% that is a positive news or negative news for the market. So that kind of clarity is yet to come. I mean, whether it is a positive for the news channel, it may be a positive mark, but for the market it may be negative. So what kind of impact will be there on the price movement, that it's very difficult to gauge that in advance.
Absolutely.
And therefore, giving clarity on that or clarification on that would be a difficult task for the companies.
Sure.
So this kind of clarity is further required from the regulator side, as in when the situation we face such situation.
Right. I know this whole piece about market rumor and material price movement, we can keep talking about it for the rest of the session, but there are 2-3 other topics that we also covered as a part of our session today. So we wanted to ask you a few questions on that. For example, on the whole piece on the prevention of insider trading, there is this reduced cooling off period for insiders from 6 months to 4 months, or 120 days. There is this, the trade period has also been reduced or removed. So the trading plan doesn't have to be for 12 months anymore. It can be for shorter duration. What are the kinds of impact that your businesses are expecting to see as an outcome of that within your organization and in the larger community of listed entities? So question to you, Mr. Shah, and then to Mr. Samal.
See, as far as we are concerned, as per our code of conduct and as per the internal, guideline that we have set for the KMPs and the SMPs, that they will not deal with any kind of, they will not, deal in the shares of the company whilst in the possession of UPC. And those who are in constant possession of UPC, they will not be dealing in the company's securities at any point of time. And there's a complete ban on that. So like CFO or the managing director, they are not supposed to be dealing with this. So there is no concept of trading plans within the organization. So we don't have any much of impact on that.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Samal? Will this impact your business?
As regards my company is concerned, definitely what Mr. Gaurang told, same thing also trading plan nobody is giving nowadays, because they have to wait for a 6-month period, and effective from 23rd September it is 120 days reduced. So what we do, if any person holding any UPSI, the list will come to me. I will first close the trading window internally, then the name of the person along with their PAN number, and if they are foreigner, then some similar kind of means they are in that host country and all, some number and all that we will be entering in the SDD, then we follow. And what we follow here also, I would like to tell you, presently we are manually entering the details of the designated person and insider and connected person who possess UPSI in the SDD, which is our own in-house software. We may seek guidance from the external service provider for our SDD upgradation, like you may provide your guidance also and support also. We can also upgrade our SDD platform.
Sure. So that is helpful. So on the next subject,
How the PIT has evolved over a period of time, and now it is more or less settled. Like there are so many tools available in the market for ensuring compliance, and we see very few instances of insider trading violations nowadays. So same way, even this rumor verification and connected matters will settle over a period of time, and maybe with the help of some tool which is rightly capturing the regulatory requirements, it would be easier for complying with that. So
sure.
So, Mr. Shah and Mr. Samal, sometime back we discussed that SEBI has now come up with a criteria for dynamic market capitalization based on the average market capitalization over a 6 months period. So, how does that impact compliances and the 3-month period that has been provided for companies to gear themselves up to comply from 1st of April following the 31st of December? Is it enough?
I think that 3 months time is not enough according to me, because one of the most important compliance would be for the BRSR report preparation, and 3 months time for preparation of BRSR report is a very short time according to me, because we start preparations for the BRSR report much in advance, maybe 6 months in advance. So those who are getting 3 months time, that too for the first time, if somebody is preparing BRSR report, it's very difficult to compile and collect the information and put it in the right format and generate the report. So that may be a difficult task for the newcomers as such, those who are coming in the list for the first time. But to counter that, or to ensure compliance, if you are into top 50, they must prepare well in advance, at least 6 months in advance. Even if they have some hint that they are likely to be included in the top 250, so they must start the preparations well in advance, so that they are not caught off guard, and then they have to run ahead to get the things done within the 3 months time. So that's the challenge that it is going to be posing.
Right. Mr. Samal, it's a matter of time.
So far as our company is concerned, we are continuously monitoring our market cap limit, and will comply the same in future. And definitely, I agree with Mr. Gaurang, what he told. It takes actually 6 month time to prepare the BRSR report, because we also start here 6 months prior. But presently we are falling under in the category of the 650, and definitely we take a lot of time to go within the limit of the 500, 250 and all. So definitely we are keeping an eye on the market cap, and nowadays NSE, BSE also, they are sending the details of the market cap, where which serial number we are falling and all.
Okay, so we are
so those who are on the edge, they may be keeping a close watch on the monthly, what is the standing in the top 250, and if they have a little hint of that they are likely to be included in the top 250, they must start preparing for the report and all that.
Correct. We'll end with one last question for both of you. This is on the regulation 29, where there is now a standard notice period of 2 days to SEBI for a whole lot of things like board meeting, financial results, buybacks, etc., which was different timelines earlier. Is that a positive sign? Is that something that will help you? I would think it would, but
definitely would help, because the intent is to reduce the speculative time, whatever is there between the date of announcement and the date of the board meeting. So earlier it was 5 days, 7 days and all that. So there was no specific time frame for there were different time frame for different activities. But now with the standardized time frame and with only 2 days intimation required, the the time for speculating in the company's script would be reduced considerably. So that would help, in avoiding any false price rigging in the company's securities, or playing some rumors, and so on. Yeah. So that would help the corporates.
Yes, Mr. Samal.
Yeah, as per me, yes, the reduction of prior intimation of the board meeting timing and all, which is reduced from 11 days, 5 days and all those things to 2 days, is not only beneficial or helpful to the company as per regulation 29(1), but also depicts ease of doing business of the Security Exchange Board of India.
That's
Yes,
correct.
That's very important. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks to both of you. We will now have some questions from the audience, which we will quickly pass on to you, or which we will hopefully have 5-7 minutes to quickly respond to as well. A few questions. We don't have a lot of time left, but first of all, I know that there has been some interest on control, and thank you so much for that. I know some of you have asked us for a demonstration of the application. Our request would be if you could fill up the form that has been pasted in the chat window with your details. We'll reach out to you. Our team will reach out, and we will definitely do a demo and also share our price and all of the other information that you're seeking. With that, in the interest of time, we'll restrict it to 3 at the most 4 questions. The first of this is, there are 2-3 news which are slightly similar, both positive and negative. There is the material price. Then how can a company take a call, and who is authorized to take a call? Shall we keep, so this is a question for you, Mr. Shah, and you, Mr. Samal. If there are multiple news items, who will take a call on which is the one which led to the material price movement?
I mean, there is no clarity on that right now, but considering the material price movement, and the company can give a general clarification, which is meeting with all the rumors, giving the clarification on this. There is no need of being any specific clarification to each and every rumor as such.
Right.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Mr. Samal, any thoughts on this?
In our company, in materiality policy, what we have defined is KMP are authorized. CMD, CFO, and myself, we are authorized. We will take a call whether it is material or not. And so far as material price is concerned, so we have a long way to go, because I am in 650 now. So it is only Mr. Gaurang can able to tell.
Yeah, I mean, same with our case also. Only MD, CFO, and company secretaries have been authorized to decide whether it is a material event or not, and accordingly give a clarification to that fact. But as far as the rumors are concerned, I have already clarified on that. Am I audible?
Yes. Indranil?
The next is, why this isn't a good practice to state the date of the board meeting to the stock exchange at the end of the quarter to seek safeguards from the market rising out of financial numbers. As per the requirement, there is an exemption to the matter in case the intimation is made under Regulation 29. If you are not comfortable answering the question now, we can always come back to Mr. Rajput later.
I couldn't hear the question properly.
Okay, so we will come back to this question at a later time.
Yes.
There are a few other questions that we already have. There's one question with regard to rumors in respect to directors and KMPs. Will those also have to be verified? Mr. Shah, would you want to take that?
Yes, I would like to. See, changes in directors in KMP is one of the events listed out under Regulation 30, Part A. So any rumors with regard to these changes have to be clarified according to me. But as per the SEBI, this industry standard note, it is mentioned in the note that such rumors should be addressed by the company only if there is a acceptance by the company of the change. And
Right.
if the company accepts there is a change and some steps have been taken by the company in that regard, then only there is a requirement to clarify or deny that. I mean,
Right.
give a answer to that effect. So
Right.
that is what the difference is. Generally, whatever matters are coming under Regulation 30, those are required to be clarified whenever such events take place or whenever such rumors are there to that effect. But there is some difference in what is mentioned in the industry standard note. So some further clarification from the regulator is required on that.
Sure. Mr. Samal, do you have a thought on this?
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Gaurang because this market association also, they have industry association, they have clearly stated also in their framework, listed entity shall respond to each rumor or repeated events or information in the direction of the material price movement which require confirmation, denial or clarification in terms of the regulation 3011. While there may be a price movement due to the combination of the various factors such as rumor, announcement or other events, the material price movement under the framework shall deem to be attributed only to the rumors and thus would require verification of such rumors. So it is very clear. So it is up to us to take a call inside first whether this rumor is correct or not, whether we have actually given this information to somebody else, then accordingly we can either deny or confirm or clarify.
Sure. There's also a question on the penalty. Is there a penal consequence if a company fails to verify a market rumor within the 24-hour time frame that has been shared by SEBI?
See, there is no specific penalty provided under Regulation 30 for not responding to such rumors. So, I mean, so far that amendment has not come in. But if you see the Security Contract Regulation Act, it provides for a penalty for failure to provide information. So that penalty is running into 1 lakh per day, subject to a maximum 1 crore rupees. So it all depends on a case-to-case basis how the exchange looks at it. And if there is a delay of few days, maybe for whatever reasons, then it is better to clarify what is the reason for delay and then see how the exchanges and the regulator looks at it. That's what my view.
Right. No, thank you. I think that is pretty much our view on the matter as well. So we have absolutely reached the end of our time, and we'd like to thank Mr. Shah, Mr. Samal, and of course Sourav, Bambam, and the entire August audience who joined us today. We know it's Ganesh Chaturthi is coming up, so happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all those who are celebrating the festival. For all the people who have joined session, thank you very much for your interest in Control. Thank you again. We will definitely want to hear your views on what you want in the product, and also we'd be happy to do a demo and discuss more about what we plan to do with Control in the weeks and months ahead. Thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. We will see you again on our next webinar very soon. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Lexplosion, for giving the opportunity.